Hi, and thank you for joining me here again. Today I wanted to talk about an act of good. This video ties in with the video from Monday about doing good for good's sake. So check out that video if you haven't already. The story involves two unlikely people, Rosa Parks and the man who founded Little Caesars and owned the Detroit Red Wings and the Detroit Tigers, Mike Ilitch. Rosa Parks did her good famously in 1955 while working with the NAACP. She got onto that bus knowing full well that she was going to be arrested for refusing to give up that seat. She had been working with the NAACP since 1943. So her case wasn't just about a tired woman who refused to get up. It was intentional. And even though some people like to portray it as the former, it is in fact the latter. What she did was intentional. And she continued to be an activist into the 1980s, fighting for the rights of black people, fighting for the rights of women, fighting for the rights of political prisoners. She was also frequently fired because of her activism, as was her husband. And they were frequently targeted for their association with communism. And they both received death threats for years. Her husband ultimately passed away in 1977. Now, fast forward a little bit to August of 1994. Rosa Parks was robbed and assaulted in her home at the age of 81. She was broke at that point, and she couldn't afford better housing. But because of her status in her community, strings were pulled, and she was moved into a better apartment, into a safer part of town. Mike Ilitch had found out about what happened to Rosa Parks and had found out about the plan to move her into a better apartment, and he took action because he felt that it was the right thing to do. And he paid her rent for years. Now, there's some dispute about what happened with this arrangement and when it ended. Sometime around 2002, she received eviction notices, but her estate argues that these notices were sent in error. Anyway, there's some back and forth about what actually happened there. But ultimately, the owner of the apartment complex decided to waive her rent for the rest of her life. And she lived in that apartment rent-free until she passed away in 2005 at the age of 92. Now, Mike Ilitch had a lot of money. Obviously, he founded Little Caesars. He owned two professional sports teams. He had a lot of money. He was also pretty important to the city of Detroit because of who he was. And he easily could have bragged about paying her rent. He could have, got it in every newspaper and talked about it widely and looked like a big hero for paying Rosa Parks rent. But he didn't. In fact, he refused to ever say anything about it. He refused to ever let anyone leak that he was paying her rent for years. Because it was wrong to do that. Because it was better for him to do that good silently, without anybody knowing about it. And that story only broke in 2014 when he passed away. The good that he did rested on its own merits. He did the right thing because it was the only option. Because it was the only thing to do. So, it's just something to think about. And that's really all that I have for you right now. Just a story that I wanted to share that tied in with that earlier video, like I said. Anyway, please like or dislike, comment, interact conscientiously in the comment section below. Subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, do all the YouTube things. And may peace and blessings be on you and on those you love. Good night.